Greetings, dear friends. I want to thank the National Peace Corps Association for this opportunity to share my views on the future of the Peace Corps from the perspective of a host country, in my case, Nepal. I have had 5-decade-long and happy association with the Peace Corps since I was a 7th grade student in the hills of Nepal. My wonderful Peace Corps teachers were instrumental in helping transform my life. And the 4,000 plus Peace Corps volunteers who have served in Nepal have contributed much to my country's development. I feel sad that because of the COVID pandemic, the Peace Corps had to temporarily withdraw all its volunteers from all countries, including Nepal. Today, I join my fellow panelists from Guatemala and Kenya to address some weighty questions about the future of the Peace Corps from our perspective as global citizens and that of our own home countries. I deeply appreciate the soul-searching motivation for our reflection at this time of historic convulsion in the US, triggered by the Black Lives Matter movement and the COVID crisis. Recent events have made all of us introspect deeply about combating systemic racism and more broadly, promoting social justice and ending the long legacy of racial, ethnic, religious, and gender-based disparities. We find this phenomenon not just in America, but in all countries where the Peace Corps serves. Let me try to address these issues in a holistic and broad perspective. During the past century, the United States has been the world's greatest superpower. There have been 3 major sources of America's superpower status in the world: its economic prosperity, its military strength, and its cultural vibrancy. America has been the richest country in the world for nearly 2 centuries. The US has only 4% of the world's population, but 15% of the world's GDP and 30% of the world's billionaires. But we also find in America grotesque inequality and great poverty in the midst of plenty. It is the only rich country in the world without universal health coverage. In terms of people's health and well-being, the US is no longer a world leader. The fact that the US has more cases and deaths from COVID-19 than any other country in the world is a telling example of how America's vast wealth fails to protect its people's health. America's military strength has also been unparalleled in recent history. Currently, the US spends more than $700 billion annually on defense. That is close to 40% of the world's military spending. But this is increasingly becoming a burden without proportionate benefits for America. The trillions of dollars that America spends on its military is increasingly becoming counterproductive. Instead of winning friends, America's military might is turning people into enemies and even terrorists. Look at what the trillions in military spending have produced in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, the Arab world, and even in Latin America, where a wave of anti-Americanism is seen. So, dear friends, I believe it is now time to reorient the American economy, drastically reduce military spending, and redirect it to end poverty, to reduce inequality, to provide health care and quality education for all, and to protect the earth from the climate crisis. This is where America's third strength comes into play. America's educational, scientific, and cultural vibrancy have earned the US tremendous soft power in the world. 40% of the world's Nobel Prize winners have been Americans. More than 50% of the world's Nobel laureates are trained in America. And 60 of the world's 100 best universities are in America. The American scientific, technological, and cultural innovations have enveloped the whole world. That is what gives America a positive, soft power for the good of the world. I consider the Peace Corps as one element of that benevolent American soft power. I dare say that less than $500 million that America spends annually on the Peace Corps touches more ordinary people's hearts and helps nurture peace and friendship in the world than the many billions the US spends on military aid to developing countries. I recall that was precisely the vision of President John F. Kennedy when he established the Peace Corps. Kennedy envisioned the Peace Corps as an opportunity for young Americans to better understand the challenges of living in a developing country, to impart their knowledge and skills, and to help overcome poverty and underdevelopment. Those are precisely the building blocks for peace and prosperity. It is in that spirit of solidarity and empathy that makes America or Nepal or any other country truly great. To paraphrase the late Senator Teddy Kennedy, to make America great again, it is better to send in the Peace Corps than the Marine Corps. I wish so much that President Trump had been a Peace Corps volunteer. If he had the Peace Corps experience and wanted to make America great again, he would have done so by responding to the greatest challenges of our times, the COVID pandemic, systemic racism, global poverty, and climate crisis in a very different manner. Let me now reflect on two questions that the NPCA has asked us. How can the Peace Corps be a true partner with host countries in the new post-COVID world? And how must the Peace Corps change to be relevant for the 21st century? Well, even before the COVID destabilized the world, we already had a universally agreed global agenda called the Sustainable Development Goals. Those goals, with dozens of specific and time-bound targets to be achieved by 2030, include ending extreme poverty and promoting prosperity with equity, protecting the environment, safeguarding people's human rights. They were endorsed by all countries of the world, including the United States, at the United Nations in 2015. The SDGs comprise a non-partisan agenda, so all of us can support them, whether you are a Republican or Democrat or neither. The Peace Corps volunteers already promote these goals in their work as teachers, health promoters, agriculture extension workers, and a variety of other vocations. What is needed now is to refine the skills of the Peace Corps volunteers to ensure that their services are provided to truly empower local people and communities. Like all other institutions are doing at this time, the Peace Corps too would benefit from an organizational soul searching to root out any trace of racism, gender discrimination, or a colonial mentality that may occasionally and inadvertently influence its work and mission. I honestly believe that the Peace Corps can help transform the multiple crises facing the US and the world into opportunity for achieving Sustainable Development Goals. I know from my own personal experience and observation that the Peace Corps volunteers can make a transformational impact on the lives of many ordinary people and future leaders of the world. Dear friends, our increasing interconnected world demands global solidarity, not charity, to solve global problems that transcend national borders, like the specter of war, terrorism, racism, climate change, and pandemics like COVID-19. I sincerely believe that the Peace Corps can be the greatest organization dedicated to promote such global solidarity at the people-to-people level. Let us remember that solidarity, unlike charity, is a two-way street. The Peace Corps experience is just as important for the education and enlightenment of the Peace Corps volunteers as it is for them to help their host communities. More than any other group of Americans, I believe that the returned Peace Corps volunteers can instill a sense of more enlightened America as part of, not apart from, a more just, peaceful, and prosperous world. So I count on the Peace Corps to survive and thrive and help build an enlightened post-COVID America and the world. Thank you.